brutal, brutal, brutal. That is the only way I can describe this car. Brutal. Hello everyone, LJ here from LJ Lifestyle. If you haven't done already, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out. Now, today I am going to be doing a 1,000 mile review of the BMW M5 F90. Stay tuned.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
Let's talk specs of the car. So, brake horsepower. This is 600 brake horsepower as a standard engine coming from a 4.4 litre twin turbo V8. Now, the car weighs roughly 2 tons. So, those of you good at maths, what's the power to weight ratio in this? Comment down below. I've owned this car now for 2.5 weeks. And in those 2.5 weeks, I've put 1,000 miles. 1,000 miles onto this M5. What made me choose this car? So, what made me choose this car? This car is, as far as I'm concerned, the best everyday supercar. It can cruise along the motorway so softly, so nicely, so chilled at 70 miles an hour, and you wouldn't know that you're in anything capable of 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds. So to me, this is the best car for every day. I've got space in the back for the kids and friends and family to sit comfortably with screens where they can watch TV live. We've got comfortable massage, heated and cooled seats in the front, as well as heated seats in the back. We've got loads of headroom. The boot is huge, big enough for me to fit in. And also, it's just a fantastic place to be, with the ambient lighting around the car, with the multiple colour settings, with the digital dash, with the sat nav, and just everything comes together to make an everyday amazing supercar. My favourite parts of this BMW are this. Exterior wise, I love the little subtle carbon bits. So across the front of the car, right at the bottom, we've got a few little bits of carbon there. Across the boot lid, there's a lovely stripe of carbon across there. And also, the roof is made fully of carbon fibre. And I think those little subtle bits, those little small changes, along with the big bulging arches and the bonnet bulges and the sometimes loud exhaust, just makes it, yeah, perfect. In terms of interior, favourite things. Now, my favourite things on the interior are Heated steering wheel. This is the first car I've ever owned with a heated steering wheel. I've never had a heated steering wheel before, so this is amazing. This is brilliant. In the winter, it's got an auto setting so that you can turn on the heated seats and the steering wheel automatically whenever the temperature drops below a range that you set. So at the minute I've got it as 10 degrees, so every time it drops below 10, this jumps on automatically and you get in the car and the seats and steering wheel are warm in no time. The next favourite gadget for me is the massage seats. This is something that I have wanted on a car since the first time I heard about them on Top Gear with Jeremy Clarkson talking about them in the S-Class. This is something that I have always wanted, and now I have it in my everyday supercar. It has multiple settings. You can massage the back, you can get the side to activate, you can get lower back, you can pick multiple options, even under your bum, and the sides of your legs can be massaged. You can do whole body. It is phenomenal, and it just takes the aches and pains out your body when maybe you've been sat in the car for a long time, or if you've been busy and you've been exercising, you need that little massage just to get you through the day. That is something that gets turned on in this car as soon as I sit in it. And all of my passengers who have been in this car so far have told me how much that they love the massage seats. Another one of my favourite gadgets is the head-up display. Now, I know a lot of cars come with head-up displays these days, but it's something I've never had before. And this one integrates the music. It has the sat-nav built into it, the rev counter. It's got M modes on it. So to me, that is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't have to look down when I'm driving, and in a car that's as quick as this, you need to be paying attention out of the window, not down at the dash. So that is a perfect upgrade. Now, is there anything that I would change about this car? A couple of things, a couple of little things after 1,000 miles that I've started to notice that I think, yeah, I'd like to change that. Now, first thing, when the car is in its comfort setting, this isn't the competition pack. I went for the normal M5 rather than the competition pack for the simple fact that I wanted a comfortable daily car. And as you know, with the suspension revisions and everything else that goes with the M5 competition, that made it a little bit stiffer. But even in its most comfortable position, it's still a stiff ride. Now, my last car was a BMW 6 Series, and I had that lowered on E-back. E-back, is it? I don't know. On those type of springs. And even with those springs, the sports lowering springs, it was softer and more supple than this M5 in comfort mode. What else would I change? Maybe the clocks. Now, the clocks are brilliant. You can see at any time of day, but I'd love a little bit more customizability, if that's a word, so that I can choose what color clocks, maybe change it around, because it's all digital, but there's very little that I can switch around in there. Yes, you can get the sat nav in the dial instead of the rev counter. Yeah, you can do all the other little bits and bobs, but in terms of being able to customize your dash, that's something I'd love to be able to change, because it's all digital. I think BMW have revised this in the LCI, and maybe the one that they're bringing out in 2021. I haven't seen that one yet, but in this model here, it's something that needs just a little bit of tweaking. Have I made any modifications to the car? So, as you may have seen it in my other video, take a watch of that, we changed the back box of the exhaust. Now, the car sounded amazing, it really did, but it needed a bit more aggressiveness to it. So we did a back box delete, and now the thing sounds brutal. Future modifications, that could be, I would say, a ECU tune, and possibly also a gearbox tune, because these cars with just the stage 1 are kicking out well over 700 brake horsepower from a good tuner. Quick shout out to my tuner, Performance Torque in Wombourne with Will. He is amazing. He's the best tuner in the UK. If you need any type of tuning, whether it's economy tuning, whether it's performance tuning, whatever your needs are, visit Performance Torque in Wombourne and speak to Will. And don't forget to let him know you were sent by LJ Lifestyle. Yeah, so going back to the tune. When you tune these cars, even stage 1 with a good tuner is over 700 brake horsepower. We've saw stage 2 at well over 800 brake horsepower, and we've all saw the YouTube videos of people getting well over 1,000 brake horsepower from these exact cars. So I don't know how far I'll go up. Usually my limit is stage 2 on anything that I do, for the simple fact that I want the car to be safe. Just saw a friend, I waved at her and she didn't even wave back, just looked at me like I was mad. Yeah, I want the car to be safe and reliable all the time. What's it like to run an M5? So let's talk about costs, shall we? 1,000 miles in this car. Now fuel is about, I would say, £1.15 to £1.20, depending where you go, or if you want premium, a bit more, yeah? In this car, over 1,000 miles, I've averaged anywhere between 9 miles to the gallon to, I would say, 15 miles to the gallon as a daily driver around towns and cities, not on the motorways. On the motorways, you can get 25 to 30 miles to the gallon. So if you're doing long journeys, it's well within the acceptable range of economy that the majority of people of us would be happy with to accept as a supercar. But around town, you are going to be filling up. As an example, these 1,000 miles have cost me £300 in fuel. Now, if I compare that £300 in fuel to my other car, which is a BMW 640D convertible, which will be going up for sale soon, guys, so look out for that. It is an amazing car, absolutely brilliant, beautifully designed convertible, stage 2. Now, if we compare that, so 1,000 miles for £300, if I put £300 in the 640D, that, gotta do some quick maths now. Now, I didn't use a calculator, but from the same amount of money, from £300 in my 6 Series, you would get well over double the mileage, over £2,000, over 2,000 miles from the same amount of money. And if you converted that to motorway miles, where you're cruising at 70 or 50, depending on the speed limit, you're probably looking, I would say, a good, another double on that amount. Another double on that amount. So, not the most economical car to run, but well within an acceptable range for a 600 brake horsepower missile. Servicing costs. So, I asked BMW to do me a service plan to work out and give me a quote what it would cost for the next, I think it was 2 years worth of servicing. Now, you've got to remember, when you buy direct from BMW or from any big car manufacturer, the car will come fully serviced. This had just been serviced when I picked it up, yeah, with the whole check over everything. Now, BMW quoted me for the next 2 years of servicing £2,000. Now, in that's no wear and tear. That is just two oil and filter changes, 2 brake fluid changes, and 1 vehicle check. So they just look over the vehicle. £2,000 for that. Now, just as a comparison, I had a look at a local franchise garage. Not going to give any names out, but I had a look at a local franchised garage, and they offered the same thing for £400. Again, a very reputable garage for 2 years servicing on a super fast car for £400. So just to compare the running costs and servicing costs from BMW directly compared to independent or different name garages, there's a massive difference, guys. But obviously, if you get your car serviced by somebody else rather than direct from BMW, it can affect your residual value when you come to sell it later. So work it out, see how much it will affect your residual value, and decide which one is going to give you the best overall return of your investment. Be rude not to when there's a lovely little straight ahead at national speed limit. Why not? Tyres. Now, this car is currently on Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's, and they're averaging around £300 to £400 per tyre. So owning this car, you must budget, depending on how you drive it. If you're driving it quick, you're going to rinse through those tyres in super speed. So you must budget around £1,500 a time to get your tyres changed. Especially as this is a 4-wheel drive system, the X-Drive. So all the tyres wear roughly at the same rate. But you can drop it into 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive sport, which sends all the power to the back, and then you might just be replacing those rear ones twice as often. How fast have I been in this absolute machine? 70 mile an hour, 70 mile an hour. Now, these cars, you have 2 options on them. You can have the standard one, or you can have one with the M Performance pack. On the standard, they reach 155 mile an hour, limited to 155 mile an hour. On the M Performance packs, they take that limiter off. They don't do any tuning. They just take the limiter off and it will hit 190 mile an hour. With the tunes that we mentioned earlier, you can easily hit over 200 mile an hour out of this 5-seater, 4-door family car. If that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what will. A 5-seater, comfortable family car with massage seats, with heated and cool seats, heated steering wheels. You've got everything, TVs, and it will hit 200 mile an hour. They need to rename this. Whoop. That's it, you cross the road on a green light. Smart, very smart. They need to rename this the accelerator sofa. Oh, that was terrible. That was terrible, sorry. Does this car get attention? The best way for me to answer that is to say, only if I want it to. So that means that when I'm driving, I could put the car into comfort mode, I could cruise along, I could turn the exhaust to quiet, and nobody looks at the car. It just looks like a 5 Series driving past. Nobody pays attention to it at all. Then, on the other hand, if I want that attention, I'll put it into sport mode, I'll turn the exhaust on, I'll drop a few gears, and it just pops and bangs and accelerates. Like a madman. The pull from this car, the pure aggressiveness of it is unreal. Like nothing that you'd expect from a car other than a Ferrari, Lamborghini, or some other supercar that you can think of. You wouldn't expect it, but the way that this thing just rips you back in your seat with no lag, no turbo lag. Remember, this isn't tuned, but still. It's ridiculous. Oh, and the noise, So, just to wrap it all up then, do I like this M5? Yes, I love this thing. It is phenomenal. It is the best car I've ever driven. Now, I've driven other supercars as well. I've driven Ferraris and Lamborghinis and Porsches and all different things like that. But the ability to just do everything from this car is just amazing. The best everyday supercar by far. And if you know anybody, quick tunnel. If you know anybody who is looking to purchase an M5 and they're deciding, I don't know, shall I do it? Yes, no. The answer is yes. Get an M5. Get an M5. Don't forget, my 640D is up for sale. I'll get a video of that up soon, so look out. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like everything. Like everything. Subscribe and like everything. Even if you think the video is rubbish, like it anyway. But we're going to be putting up that video of the 6 Series soon and telling you why it is the ultimate Grand Tourer. Thank you so much for watching, guys. As always, subscribe and like, and look out for our next videos.